Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I want to talk about the raping of little Iraqi boys by American soldiers and American officers, specifically at Abu Ghraib prison during the U.S. occupation of Iraq. And there must be some form of minimal justice for these poor little souls who were raped. But first, I have the infallible Word of God right here in the Gospel of Luke. For nothing is secret that will not be revealed, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light. And now we've known for a couple of years now that American soldiers and officers raped close to hundreds of little boys, little Iraqi boys, at Abu Ghraib. So, I mean, there has to be justice. There has to be some form of minimal justice. Out of all the atrocities the U.S. has done against the Iraqi people, there must be some form of minimal justice for the Iraqi people. So, again, the infallible Word of God. In Exodus, the book of Exodus, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And the equivalent in the New Testament, in the Gospel of Matthew, and with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. So there must be some minimal form of justice for these little Iraqi boys who were raped by American soldiers. And I'm going to be asymmetrical about justice in this case, because I'm not asking for Iraq to bomb U.S. cities, and I'm not asking for the justice for even little girls, because there have been hundreds of little girls, little Iraqi girls who were raped by American soldiers. I'm specifically asking for justice for these few hundred little boys, little Iraqi boys who were raped. Okay, and if we get justice for them, for these little boys who were raped, then I'll say good enough justice. We won't include all the bombings and all that as, equivalent. So it's an asymmetrical form of justice. So, what I'm thinking the best idea is to get a bunch of Iraqi troops to come to the United States, to come to American soil, and they can rape American little boys. We'll just say just 100, just 200, okay? Maximum. That's all I'm asking, is just America to sacrifice 200 little boys so that Iraqi soldiers and officers can rape them. Actually, a better equivalent might be Iranian officers or Iranian soldiers, since we technically still own Iraq, and Iran is independent from the United States. Iran is like perfectly independent. Okay, so let's have Iranian soldiers come to the United States, and I'm only asking for 200 American little boys that Iranian soldiers could rape, and just rape, okay? And they have to be white boys, okay? These 200 Americans have to be little white boys, because Hispanic boys and black boys, they are not as worth as much in this country, in the United States, as much as white boys. So, I mean, we're talking about justice here. So, yeah, Iranian soldiers, they can rape 200 little American boys in there, and all justice is done. Okay, everything's taken care of. Or if you do not agree to that, I suppose that you're just a fucking racist. I suppose Americans are thinking, well, these were just Iraqi little boys. It's okay if they're Iraqi, because they're not as worth as much. Because Americans, they would feel more comfortable minimizing the humanity of Iraqis and Iranians. I mean, it's more comfortable to do that. So what? American soldiers raped, a bunch of Iraqi little boys. But, you're a racist because you're thinking it's okay because they were just Iraqi little boys. Or maybe you're thinking, well, the United States, we're surrounded We're protected by 2 large oceans. So this is never going to happen to us. Hello, 9/11. 9/11, okay, you know, you're not protected. So, I mean, we are all, I mean, that's the best thing about 9/11, is to show that we are all one humanity. America, there's no exceptionalism to America. I mean, we are all one humanity. So let's recognize that we are all one people. But if you refuse to recognize that we are one humanity and Iraqis and Iranians have the same worth as you, then let's just have a bunch of Iranian soldiers come here and rape about 200 American little boys. You know, justice is done.